Welcome to Sandshot Customs, where if I can do it, you can too. This is part 7 of the Hemi JK engine swap, and today we're going to be talking about transmissions. I've done a ton of research over the last, couple months here, and ultimately we need to make some final decisions. I did make my decision on what transmission I'm going to go with, but I need to validate a few things before we can see if that's going to be a option for us. So, with starting out, let's look at the Jeep JK behind us. Let's talk about the transmission that's in there, and then the pros and cons of it. Then let's talk about two other transmission options that we have. So in the Jeep JK here, let me hop underneath here. So I'm actually underneath the Jeep JK right now. I'm going to show you the 42 RLE 4-speed transmission that comes with the 09 Jeep JK here. And let me get into a good position here. I don't know if that's a good view of it. That's with the bell housing right where it connects up. But nonetheless, that's the 42 RLE transmission right there. Check it back out here. Hopefully you're able to see that transmission okay. It's covered up by quite a few of the skid plates, but nonetheless I just wanted to give you a quick showing of it. It's the as I said, it's the 42 RLE transmission. It's found in the Jeep JK Sierra Limited Edition. I'm not sure about the Rubicon, but it's from the 2007 to 2011 Sierra Limited Edition Jeep JK. And there's it's a great transmission. It's been run in quite a few different vehicles. Some of the cons that are about it is a 4-speed. So when you put it together with a 3.8 liter motor that only produces just shy of 200 or right around 200 horsepower, you get less than desirable power up high. You throw on big tires and that gets even worse. Now I did re-gear the Jeep to 488 gearing. I went with Yukons, so we did gain some of that power back, and it does do okay, but ultimately the 4-speed just isn't enough to keep up with the Hemi. And if it's my understanding is correct, it doesn't even bolt up to the Hemi, so we can't use it anyways. Some of the cons that come along with the transmission are it doesn't shift very well. I've noticed this in the dunes and off-roading where it has a hard time finding the right gear to be able to drive in efficiently. So that's one of the knocks on it. The other knock is that it will randomly go into limp mode, and if you own a Jeep JK, I'm sure you've heard of the dreaded limp mode. Let's also give a brief rundown of the different shifters that are inside the Jeep JK. So I'm gonna go in the 09 Jeep JK here. Sorry for the mess here, but I just want to get this kind of done with here. So just for the people that are new that might not know much about what each of these levers are truly for, this is where you would shift your 2-wheel drive to 4-wheel drive, and then to neutral or 4-low. You can see right on top right here, it tells you right off the bat. This is your transfer case. This is what is connected at the end of the transmission. Drive shafts are hooked up to the transfer case that send the power to differentials. Differentials feed it out through the axle shafts to the tires. So this is transfer case. This is your transmission. This shifter is important because right now it works for the 42 RLE transmission that's in there, but in further down in this video we'll talk about why this might need to be swapped out for a newer updated shifter. So stick around for that information. Yeah, two types of transmissions that are really an option for me in the 09 Jeep JK engine swap. So we'll start out with the first one, which is the most supported transmission for a DIYer kit, and that would be the 545 RFE transmission, and that's a 5-speed transmission. It's mainly found in the early 2000s Dodge Ram 1500, the 2500. They also make a 65 RFE, and I believe that's just a little stronger version of the 545 RFE. and it's also found in the Dodge Ram, the 2500 and 3500 series. And I'm sure it's found in a bunch of other vehicles, but I can't get into that type of detail. All manufacturers support it. I'm using Jeep Speed Shop for the kit that I purchased to do the swap, and they also support it. There's some really big pros to using it. It's a well-supported and tested transmission with the kit that goes a long ways. The install is relative, at least I'm learning this, but it's relatively easy to do. Let me show you a little bit about what I'm understanding the install is. Let me show you on this engine right here. So on this engine and transmission right here, pretend this is the 3.8 with the 42 RLE transmission. What ends up happening is there's a wiring harness that comes down, covers over the transmission, and then plugs in various spots. What my understanding of the swap is, once I pull out the transmission from the current JK, the wiring is just a plug and play into the current shifter that's there. And that means that you can reuse this shifter, and you don't have to take apart any of your center console or your dash and fabricate and put in new electronics to be able to pull off using the 545 RFE transmission. So this goes a long ways, and I don't know. For the complexities of what this swap is, it's a very intriguing route to go, because it just makes everything simple and it just works and everybody supports it. The 545 RFE transmission, based on my research, you're going to find a decently used one for between $500 and $1,000. There's also ones you can find on Facebook Marketplace and Craigslist for $150, $200, but I sometimes question if those are going to be fully functional or work at all. The other interesting part about it is you need the correct valve body. So let me show you down here on the bottom here. So on this transmission right here, you'll see the black, I don't even know what to call this, the pan, transmission pan, I guess you could say. I don't know if that's true, but the valve body is inside of here. And it's very specific. The valve body has to be a very specific one to be supported by some of the kits. Now, I'm not going with the 545 RFE. I'm actually going to take the more challenging route and go with the 8-speed 8 HP 70 transmission. We'll talk about more on that in just a second. But going back to the valve body, I don't have details on what exact valve body you need. I believe it's the one out of a Dodge truck from that era, but I'm not 100% sure on that. I think that's about it that I can actually remember and talk about the 42 RLE that's in there and the 545 RFE transmission. But the most important thing to know is that the install is easy, quote, air quote that, easy, and a lot of the headaches have been taken care of. So that's a very important aspect of this. Now, let's talk about the second option that is available. And to my knowledge, and to Todd at Jeff Speed Shop, he's the only one that supports an 8-speed transmission in their DIY kit. Now, I decided to go with the 8 HP 70 transmission. The advantages of this is you get a lot of the newer technology. I don't know all the details, but it's my understanding that it basically, as you are applying acceleration, it doesn't lose any power as it's shifting through the different gears. And then it also has the ability to jump gears. So I'm probably saying that wrong, but say you're slowing up, it can go from 6th gear to 2nd gear, and it can jump nicely and smooth. There's also another aspect of this transmission that I really like, and that's the people that actually use this transmission in their vehicles. You have BMW, you have Aston Martin, you have Bentley, you have obviously the Dodge Challenger, because that's where I got these two. You have many other high-end performance vehicles that are supporting and use this transmission. So to me, that means that if they are comfortable using this transmission and it supports the high performance nature of their vehicles, I might as well just figure out how to use that in mine. So I talked to Todd extensively about what needs to happen to be able to use that transmission, and luckily I have two of them. I have the transmission that came out of the this is one out of the 2015 Dodge Scat Pack, and you can see right down here, at least I hope you can, that's a 8HP 70. And then we can go over here, and this is also, it's hard to see, I don't know where the little badge is, yeah, right there, it's a 8HP 70. This one is the one that's out of the Jeep Grand Cherokee SRT 8. Now, based on my conversation with Todd, we need to take the valve body that will work correctly with his setup out of the 2015 Scat Pack transmission and move it into the transmission that came from the Dodge Challenger SRT. So we're going to have to use this transmission. The next piece that is super important is one, this is the transfer case right here. Let me get this. Oh shoot, that's in the way a little bit. But nonetheless, right in between the transfer case and the transmission is an adapter plate. This adapter plate, at least to my understanding, since it's out of the SRT 8, will not bolt up to, or will just not work for the application for the Jeep JK. He did send me over some pictures that I will post right now for you, and you'll see them up on the screen right here, of the adapter plate that they use for their swap. And basically what I need to do here today is take off this transfer case and do some measurements to make sure that the correct adapter plate or adapter will actually bolt up. So let's get to doing that. What I'm first gonna do is blow off all the grime that I'm seeing on this piece. I think some of it's frozen. This is where being prepared helps. I do not actually have the correct adapter to take these off. So we're gonna go get that. Now that I have the correct socket here, this is, for those that don't know, this is called a, let me zoom in right there. This is called a reverse torque or an e-torque or external torque socket. And this one specifically is E12 that fits on here properly. Yep. And there's also this very similar type of, well actually it is, the same type that help you pull out studs. An example of that is, let me see if I can find a stud here. All right, let me show you a stud here. You can see right on the end right here, that's another e-torque or reverse torque end right there. All right, we'll go back over here. Okay, I think I got all the actual bolts out here.
that is the transfer case, and then I'll take off the front drive shaft here in a little bit, but I don't need to worry about that quite yet. If anybody needs a working transfer case for a 2014 Jeep SRT 8, let me know. This is what the adapter plate looks like. It really goes from here to here. Go down there a little bit. One thing I'm gonna do here real quick is spray some degreaser engine cleaner on here, so I can at least make sure that the main part where it's really greasy is cleaned up a little bit. I was able to get the adapter off, and it really was just the let's see, there's 7 screws or 7 bolts, and you can see right here the bolt pattern that's there. That's what I need to verify against the bolt pattern that Todd had sent me to verify that this 8 HP 70 transmission will work. Right now on the screen we'll put both bolt patterns, and you can tell me. I believe they look pretty darn close to the same. I'm gonna get some actual measurements to verify that. We'll have to play that one by ear, but at least I was able to get that off, and I sent that over to Todd to get extra verification, and we'll go from there. Now that I've covered that piece, let's talk about the install that needs to happen. So the additional parts that come with the add-on kit from Jeep Speed Shop is a wiring harness for the computer and the transmission to drive up to the, to wire up to the actual shifter. So I'll have more detail of that when I actually do the install and I actually have everything in front of me, but that's the conceptual idea. Let's go over to the Jeep JK here, and I can show you at least my understanding of how everything gets installed here. So what needs to happen, I'm assuming it's just going to be easier to pull the seats. The center console has to come out. We need to remove the shifter. And I know that wiring has to go up into the dash here because of where the firewall access is. So I'm assuming we got to pull off all the dash area right here. And then we have to essentially take the wiring that comes off of the transmission, wire it up into the vehicle, basically following the wiring harness that's currently there. And then we need to fabricate, well actually Todd from Jeep Speed Shop gives us a actual plate, but the plate goes down in here that actually holds the new shifter. The shifter that we need to have is the shifter out of at least my understanding is a Dodge Challenger shifter, or maybe an SRT 8 shifter would work. I believe they're very close to the same thing. So we'll be trying to hunt one of those down at a later date here. But that's the complicated part. Once we get everything in here, we have to find the wiring harness, cut into the wiring, I shouldn't say cut into the splice it. It's actually not splice. So you take back a little bit of piece of wire, and then you take the wire that needs to connect to it, wrap it around it, then solder it together, and then wrap it all with shrink wrap, or shrink plastic, I guess you could say. That's about all we have for today's video. I want to thank you for watching. It's probably boring to many, but hopefully it brings some value to somebody. The goal for tomorrow is to start working on the 2015 engine. I know that we have to get new headers, so we got to get that removed off the exhaust manifold, and then we have to get the engine brackets off. I'm going to pull the alternator here. I need to actually verify. Let's zoom in right there for later use. If that's the correct alternator or not. I don't believe it is, but we'll verify that. I know that there's accessories that go on here are need to be changed out a little bit because the ones from Dodge Challenger don't exactly meet up properly for fitting in the JK. And obviously the same side of this, pull everything off. So I know I need to replace those types of things. Valve covers may come off. I don't know. I'm still debating if I want to go that far. Not 100% sure yet. Other than that,
have a great day. Thanks for watching. And remember, if I can do it, you can too.